from that like stair setup.
Because
And you
sometimes I
just
draw trend lines from the top too, so I get
I
confused.
rarely top one. Yeah, I rarely use the top one because then
Uh,
I could see how it starts to draw channels that I'm like, is that really a channel?
yeah, I was like before.
I'm opening Thinkorswim right now.
I forgot to
Hey,
press
also,
Is
record.
that what?
uh, can you make like a like change one of the tabs on Discord to so Eloy could like put the reviews on so we can see them, so we don't have to scroll through the main chat?
What reviews?
Because yeah, aren't you gonna post them, Eloy, or not?
Yeah.
Oh, the videos.
Yeah, the videos.
Oh, all right.
Like take off how to get started and change it to something else or something.
All right.
Is that something
All
on
right,
my end or
cool.
what?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay.
That's Eric. He's gonna make a tab so you can just post them there, like specifically, so we don't have to scroll up in the main chat and find them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All right, cool.
I missed the first couple of minutes. I forgot to press record. Let's go. Yeah, on this one, I took a trade where I think there's another chase, which I'm realizing I need to break that habit. But that's what went to $54. But I had like a
Can you guys see my TOS?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Eli. My bad.
I mean, I'm sure this isn't a strategy you guys do, so that's why I'm saying I need to break that habit because it was a chase. But like it was breaking a bunch of lines that I had, and then this last line that it broke, which was just like a dotted line. My dotted lines, when I write them or create them, are just to me weak lines, and it broke underneath it. And then I saw volume pick up, and I was like, oh, let me just at least try to put up until the next supply zone, I mean demand zone, and then that's it hit it perfect. But yeah, like I guess you guys are letting me know that that's not the smartest plan.
I mean, it is a strategy people use. There's this girl, Mozzie Trades, who trades exactly like that. She uses those dotted lines for weaker points and she takes breakouts. But I don't know that strategy and I don't know how she puts her stops. So you would have to mess with that. Like, my personal like setup that I like is like when I'm sitting back and price is coming to me and I could reverse it because it allows me to just be patient to like let price just come to my key level. Whereas you like you're waiting for price to break your level and now your stop has to be adjusted according to that strategy because like the screenshot I showed you where like the stop was like 10 points like that to me is doesn't make sense. And if I were to take that trade, a lot of things that would happen to me when I would do that is I would be like, oh, if my stop is up here, it probably won't ever break that stop. So then I hold it thinking it's not going to break that. And I have a 10-point loss risk right there. That's like just stupid of me monetary wise. Um, but that like FOMO of like I don't want this to take off without me, so I'm gonna keep holding it past my stop, and now I'm messing with this 10-point risk. Like I just don't like putting myself in that position, so that's why I don't like taking breakouts.
Mhm. I wonder if not that I've come up with an idea. It's just more just random thoughts. If you just for breakouts, you make your stop your entry point, and then it's kind of like it shouldn't have gone your way anyways because you shouldn't be chasing breakouts. But it's like, well, if it goes back to where it entered, because it's more like you're just chasing that quick drop. But that's probably not smart either.
I I I get that. I just don't like how I get emotionally with those situations because I know like oh there's a little room above that it could still wiggle in and now I'm going to be more willing to move my stop a little higher just because I know how I am when I get into those positions emotionally. Whereas if I'm trying to reverse at low a day, I know like this is a key level. If it breaks this, it has the opportunity to keep falling. So I'm instantly gonna exit when it hits my stop. I like being in that tight risk situation
And what about
better.
those days where it's just falling and breaking through all of your stuff? Is that just not your conditions that day? So you probably won't trade.
I realize whenever that happens, Carmine also struggles with that. And he even said in a video before where he's like, my strategy kind of goes against me in those situations where like he has demand zones and like it's just breaking through. And like you'll see it. Oh, you probably won't because you're not in the Discord. But over time, like you'll see like this week he lost that day also because it was just breaking demand zones and he kept trying to reverse it. So it's just, I mean, you can build a breakout strategy. It's just not something I prefer to do.
Yeah, because in the following day, I literally was like, "Oh, I see it again." Like I saw that happening, and I was just taking losses. I was like, "Oh, VX is up, and then
Yeah.
it's breaking my little dotted lines," and I took 2 losses.
Yeah, see, that's also another thing you have to do is like see in the long run, do you take more wins take doing that strategy or do you take more losses with that strategy?
The last podcast Eric sent us, they talked about that. If you're winning in your trading journal, you're seeing your wins, but you don't know why, and they're all random reasons why you're winning. Then you don't know what's going to work really. So you have to
Yeah.
find something that you can replicate constantly, and you have to see the setups come to you because they start forming in your key levels. So reversals are better for that because breakouts I feel like are spontaneous and it's less likely to work your way than reversals, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I just like to see price coming to me. I just feel more comfortable. I feel like I'm gonna catch the ball rather than like chasing the ball.
Yeah. If you don't have a clear entry, target, and stop, then that's the sign that you're chasing.
I chase every day then. I have no targets.
But you know your entries though, right? At least your entries. Targets are the least important, I think.
Yeah,
I think your stop's the most important, then your entry, and then your target. But
100%.
you gotta know at least two though. Otherwise you're chasing.
Yeah, it's more like you're supposed to just know how much profit you want to take on, and it's like, oh well, it kept going, but at least I exited with profit because you never know where to exit.
Depends who you ask. If you ask Jaden, he's like, see green, take green is not a good idea.
But I
But
think,
I see why. Because if you take multiple losses and your wins are only like if you take a week losing streak and then the next week you're scared and you're only taking small profits, it's gonna take you forever to make up that week of losing because you're not waiting for your strategy, your setup to properly play out to your target.
but once you wouldn't, doesn't that change? You feel like once you guys start trading with more contracts, then you can exit like a certain part of your contracts and stay
Yeah,
in.
you can
Oh,
have two targets. You can
yeah.
sell one at the first target and then leave a runner to hit the next target.
Right.
But you got to be confident as fuck because like that's what's
Also,
scary.
yeah, because Carmine, with the strategy we use, hates to leave runners because, for the most part, he says his targets will usually be where the market's gonna do like another reverse. So you gotta like also mess with that to see like how that works for you.
Simon.
But yeah, this trend line right here, the only reason I drew it was this. I started with this wick right here, and then I liked how it tapped here, and then it respected again one more time, and then it is respected again one more time. So I just left it, not knowing what would happen the next day. We broke, and then we held above, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. It's holding over." Think when I was drawing, when I was charting this day, I realized that it was respecting overnight. And then into the open, we were holding. And that's also why I was bearish at the open of this day because we were breaking through my trend line already. Um, but yeah, that's basically all I do is just kind of go on a larger time frame and just see like what's the trend And this was a pretty obvious trend to me.
So good, to be honest. I just
But
don't
if,
know what kind of trend to draw.
I was gonna say, if I see another one to draw, then I'll draw it and see what's up. Like right now, I'm kind of already seeing one that I might draw, and I'll just start it right now. I'll erase this one because if this rejects again, it could be.
Maybe you
We're
draw
already,
the top trend line when price is reaching it, and the bottom trend line when price is reaching that,
oh yeah, that makes sense.
like a supply and demand trend.
Because like seeing this kind of makes sense if we. I don't know what where demand is down here right now. Oh well, there's a 90-minute right here, so this supply turns into support with the demand
Yeah,
zone. Um, so if it bounces again, this may be an area that we reject one more time, unless the market wants to start rallying back up. I was
I think
actually
yeah.
watching. Damn, I feel like we fucking haven't even been going through Bookmap, but I was watching this thing with Ian where they asked him if the market's going to go down again before the end of the year, and he was like, I guess because there's a time where back in the days the market used to pull back a little before the end of the year, but he was like, I don't think the government wants retail traders to be in the market as heavy as they were in the previous 2-3 years, so they're not going to make pullback seem as obvious. And he was like, this day, what was this, the 1st of October. He was like, it was on this day that they were talking, and he was like, today we technically had a pullback, and it was pretty aggressive because Nvidia dropped to like 114, I think, and I was like, damn, that's like kind of a good entry if it's not going to pull back again. But he was saying how they don't want to make pullbacks seem as obvious because they don't want retail traders to be in the markets as much anymore. I thought that was interesting. Um,
We're considered
but
retail traders, right?
what?
We're
Yeah,
considered.
we're retail.
All right.
Yeah, we're retail. We're
Oh, why not?
fish in the pond. Um, they just don't want us making money.
They don't want us to
I
keep
don't
at
know.
it and figure it out.
How did you know that?
I'm just being a conspiracy theory. I don't know right there. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
Where's Bookmap?
Yeah, they definitely don't want us getting better at this stuff. More people getting better at it. More people get better at it. It's like I already want to teach people this, and it's like,
Dude, this girl said if I taught, how many people did she say? Like, she said multiple thousands. She was like, if I taught multiple thousands my strategy, it wouldn't even like make a fluctuation in the market. I was like, that's crazy.
Really tiny.
Yeah,
Fuck. And how big are whales?
for real.
Fuck.
Eli, what time did you take that trade?
I don't have the exact time. I didn't start taking notes on that, but I took it at the fourth candle, like right around 5772. It broke a 45-minute dotted line that I had for demand. Demand. So I'd say, what's that fourth candle?
6:45.
Yeah, 640. Did I write the time? Unfortunately, I didn't write the time on that. I haven't started taking better notes yet. But then I exited.
TOS was the exact second you exited.
I don't have that open right now. I'll get that ready for the third video. Where I took
6:40 at 6:40. What time was this? At 6:40:57, I took a long. So, like right here, I took a long. Looking at this large seller, it was 1,000 lot seller. I definitely got like a FOMO on this. There was no, besides that, there is like no real action going on here that I should have entered. I just was like some buying stepping in, SVP's building up, got that 1000 lot, but it wasn't really showing signs of holding, so that was kind of stupid on my part. We had already, what is that, 57.72. We had already broke my 15-minute demand. I was just thinking it was gonna like break under and then pop back up. I had NQ inside 4 hour demand. I had Microsoft holding 3 hour, but it was selling off aggressively. That also should have been a red flag to me to enter. I was basically being a first buyer. Nvidia was bouncing off a 1 hour demand, and I took a loss on this. Small loss, but it was a loss.
I don't know if it's worth
Understand?
noting, but this was a heavy volume day. 72K open, and then it didn't even go under 40 for a minute to like all to like 7:30.
I quickly got stopped right here with this little action.
Were you green on this day?
What?
Were you green on this day?
Break even.
Um,
I took another trade at, oh shit, I entered right after again. So I was really messing with this 6,000, I mean with this 1,000 lot salary, thinking it was gonna hold, especially how it just wicked me. And then I gave it another try at 641.28. So as soon as I got out, I entered back in. I don't like doing that, but I do it sometimes. Thinking that it's gonna keep holding this. It obviously did push up a little to 57.80, but it was going up against this 900 lot seller over here. So that's a red flag that it couldn't get back above it. But like I said, I was being a first buyer. So entering even on this right here, you're being a first buyer against super aggressive selling. That's kind of stupid. I got stopped out at 643. So on this pullback here, I quickly got stopped out. Oh wait, what the fuck? No, I took profits at 643. I, because of this 900 lot salary and we weren't pushing above it, I just exited, and it was a $20 win.
sure.
Interesting. Um, Tripping. But that SVP was building up. But like I said, yeah, this was a red flag, and I was being a first buyer. So although it worked, I don't consider it a great trade.
Glad was to get above it, huh?
Yeah. I think I took another one too. pretty, pretty close. At 708, I took another one. So I waited a while to see another level hit. But this was, that entry was also against aggressive selling. Like if you zoom out, you could just see like this shit is 3,000 lots, 2,000, 2,000 lots. Right here, when I took that long, I really should have been looking at how I could and see, Eloy, this is, instead of taking a breakout, this is what you could, you see aggressive selling coming down. Yeah, it may be coming down into a demand zone, but say it's a weak demand zone that you have, like that entry short, the breakout. Say it bounces off that a bit, and then you wait for it to hit a larger amount of volume. So if you zoom out, you could see like, okay, we have 1,000 lots here. Wait for it to pull back, it sells off, then bounces back and tests that that 1,000 lot seller, and now you can enter short again, but now your stop will make more sense. What time was this at? 6:43. So what is that? 30, 35, 40. So it would be basically your stop. What was that? 79. Your stop could be 8. Your stop could be this basically right here. I would move it up a little bit, maybe make it 81, 57, 81, just above my 15-minute demand. Just because of how aggressive it's moving, never fails to get past above that demand, and you could enter short with a tight stop, 3 points max maybe. You enter right here, and then you let it fall into your demand rather than having to enter down here. And now one, your reward is a lot less because you're entering a lot lower, rather than if you entered up here, your reward is a lot larger. So you could take the same exact trade just in a different entry opportunity.
The only bullshit thing is that you can't, like, it's hard to, like, you can see it clearly now, but while it's going, you have to look for it.
Exactly, because my whole thing, I'm looking at a way to reverse the sell off, and then you have to like switch your mindset into like, okay, that's not working. Let me go into like going with the trend. So yeah, that's definitely a mental battle you have to deal with.
Why we're constantly going in after we lose. Sometimes it's
And
just the
that's
wrong
also
entry.
why I don't like to enter like as soon as I get stopped out. Although I do sometimes, but I don't like to do that because then this happens to me where I keep trying longs multiple times. And then in reality, if I zoom out, it's like, oh shit, I should be trying shorts. So that's why zooming out is like very important to me as well. But then here, 650, we get a 900 lot seller, large selling all day. Another one. Oh, that's 400, 600 building up. Get a push. Buyer. 800 lot seller. So even looking at this little section, sellers are in control because I see. I mean, I was seeing it as absorption, but that was stupid of me. My equities were all selling off. Like it was just dumb. So here, some buying is trying, and then aggressive sweep down. Oh, this is news. 3,000 lot buyer, 1,000 lot buyer. So aggressive. This is like aggressive buying, trying, and failing. So that's also a red flag there. That's almost like maybe 4,000 lot buyer trying.
I think Eloy asked
Yeah,
yesterday, like, huh?
go ahead.
Oh, I think Eloy asked yesterday, something about like, if you see large selling or large buying, is that a sign of like it's gonna break through? And sometimes it doesn't break through, or sometimes it'll break through
Yeah,
really fast and then come back and reverse.
I feel like that's all dependent on how strong your zone is that you're gonna be at. Like if you have a bold 4 hour demand as where price is coming into and it starts to have heavy selling, but it doesn't sell off, I would see that as absorption. But if it's like a pre-market 15-minute demand, I don't want to say it wouldn't be absorption, but the chances of it falling are a lot higher than of it reversing. If it's if it's heavy selling like this is here, but even the red flag for me here is like, yeah, it absorbed a bit here and so pushed up aggressively. But the fact that this 3,000 lot buyer at 57.68 couldn't get up higher that much, and the way VWAP is on Bookmap too, like it I think just
Okay.
over time you build that. You build that. I don't know what you call it. Like just
Gut
seeing
feeling,
it happen. Yeah,
like a
yeah.
sixth
That's what I
sense.
said last week. Like sometimes there's things I see that I can't even like really explain. Like it's just seeing it over and over again.
Because you're
But
starting to
here,
see book happen patterns and stuff. Like you're starting to be able to read it better.
yeah, here's where I tried the long at 708. It was just dumb. There was no outlier. There was nothing there. I feel like I was already getting dazed at this point. Just trying to make my money back. Annoying. Still hurts me right now.
And get all mad.
And then I took another long at 7-Eleven right here. Why is Bookmap freezing?
It sucks when your mouse is on Bookmap, it's blurry, but when you take your mouse off, it's like 4K.
Like that?
Yeah, like right now it's
Yeah,
crystal clear.
Oh shit, you should tell me that before.
But I mean, you need to point out what you're showing us, but it makes sense.
Bookmap is acting good right now. Oh, there it goes. I think my last trade was good, but I just already was dazed. Shouldn't have even been trading at that point. Because there was a good long opportunity here. 7:15. Oh, around here. Okay. So we had an aggressive push up. Something stuck out. Damn, this was a stupid entry still though. I entered right here at this like small little bind just because this push up and then it was holding above this 900 lot seller. I was thinking it wasn't gonna drop under it, but my stop was at 56.43 and it never hit. It took off from here. Yeah, it was a 4 point stop and then uh held it. 43 was what was it? 43.25 was my stop. To 57.61 up here. This where is it? This SVP was my target. And there's the pop. I had a Microsoft in 3 hour demand. I had Nvidia holding 15-minute demand. And I had NQ holding a 15-minute demand.
It was your key.
Yeah, I'm
And it
ready.
was my key, yeah.
I'm gonna start trading futures, bro. Saturdays.
I'm surprised I have. See, why can't I do this?
Hey, don't you
Right there, I
love
exited.
when price is inching toward your target and it fucking makes it?
Fuck
God
yeah.
damn. I love when that fucking
Even
happens.
when it just that super aggressive push, I'm like, okay, I could have a little type of relief.
Yeah, it feels so fucking good. But it
And
never
that was
exits.
basically that. That was basically that trade. Again, it was the push up, and then it pulled back, and I seen this 1,000 lot seller if you zoom in, it was like 900 lots. And the fact that we were at everything was at my demand zones, I was like, okay, it's possible for us to just hold above this 1,000 lot because of this large push, waiting for that pullback. The first sign of some green, I entered, and it never hit stop and just went for the push. So Eloy, that's the main thing with the setup that we have is with the strategy is letting price come to you. Once price comes to you, look at your confirmations. See, okay, are they telling me the same story? Are they all at demand also? The fact that if they're all at demand, now you look at order flow and see, okay, I'm looking for an outlier now that we're at my demand zone and confirmations are telling me the same thing. Boom, 1,000 lot shows up. Then you wait for a reaction of that 1,000 lot. It bounces up and now you want it to come back and hold that large uh seller or buyer, whatever it may be. That to me is the A+ setup for the strategy. Is letting something an outlier show up. It shows up. Wait for the reaction of it. It bounces, and then wait for it to hold that same large buyer. Because sometimes you could enter when you see, which has worked also. That's where like it gets tough because this is the outlier. The large seller is the outlier, and then it pushes up aggressive, and you're like, oh, I don't want to miss out. So you enter here, but then you have a chance of being stopped out real quick before it pushes up again. So that's why if you want an A+ setup, you wait for the reaction of it and then enter on the hold of it. But sometimes I will enter here and it will work. So that's also that idea of like, see, if you enter like this, do you have a higher chance of winning on your journal? Or if you enter on the pullback to hold, do you have a higher chance of winning? It's just based off of what your journal is telling you. And it's dependent on the conditions because it could have just chilled for like 15 minutes before it took off also because we were having such an aggressive sell off. But that's basically it for me for this day.
End of this video.